Today is a sad day in the NFL for a lot of coaches, players, and teams that are not in the playoffs. Really, it's on the executives and front offices. This is the day we see a lot of guys laid off in the NFL. Well, some news in Carolina, as I reported earlier and talked to you guys. Ejiro Evero has been retained. And to be honest, I am probably 80% shocked at this. I did feel like that Dave Canales was going to take the time this offseason to find his guy. I think he maybe looked at the situation and then reevaluated and decided to take consistency and take this uniform approach of, hey, let's keep everyone together. Let's work out some kinks underneath Evero because, to be honest, I think some kind of shakeup is going to happen, whether it's a positional coach or coaches. There's going to be some change up. No doubt. You can't have the rushing defense that we had, even though the personnel wasn't there at all times, and think that there's not going to be change. And you can't give up the most points in NFL history and think that change is not going to happen. Like, those things are inevitable. Is it going to be enough? Now, we are talking through Evero being back because it's been confirmed. Now, one thing you have to remember, and maybe the odds are pretty slim, Evero could still get snagged as a head coach. That's always an option that's on the table. Is there a team that's going to be interested? When I look at the available openings right now, and there's like 5, I don't really see many of them that align. But I will tell you what, if you remember last year, Evero, where did he interview? With the Atlanta Falcons. Made it pretty far along in that process. We know he interviewed at Carolina. Well, there's another team within the NFC South that has an opening, and that is the New Orleans Saints. And right now, Evero is not tied to them. He's not been rumored. There's no sources. There's none of that. But think about the Carolina Panthers. When we went through our big list of potential coaching candidates last year in interviews, Dave Canales came up at the last minute, and there is no way anyone could have predicted that at all. He was not on anybody's radar. Now, Evero is a little bit different. People know about Evero. He's respected within the building, and he's respected within the NFL. Does that open the door? And do the New Orleans Saints say, well, you know what, we're going to look past what you had this year and chalk it up to personnel and make a decision to bring him in? I doubt it. I don't think it's going to be an option, but as we continue to see head coaching vacancies open up, you have to remember that that's always a possibility. But under the assumption that Ejiro Evero is back, we heard from Dan Morgan today. This is the end of the season. We get all the end of season interviews, the exit interviews. Dan Morgan took a lot of the blame for the personnel on the defensive side of the ball. I think he took it personally. He is a defensive-minded guy. And so it seems there was a lot of respect for Ejiro Evero. And I agree. And like last season, pretty good defense. Not fantastic, but pretty good. And so as we look back, we invested all this on the offense. It's now going to flip its head, invest all this on the defense. I think this is the opportunity for Ejiro Evero. And honestly, we just need average defense. We don't need a top 10. We don't need a top 5. We just need a top 15 defense. Be right in the middle of the NFL to where we can be competitive. And then you go from 5 wins to 8 or 9 wins when you pair along the development that we saw with Bryce Young. So no, not a big fan of it, but I understand it. And for the Panthers to go into this offseason not having to worry about anything related to front office hires, and again, they may shake things up underneath it, I consider that a big plus for this organization because it's stability that we have not had. And for recruiting, consider it recruiting when you're trying to get guys in here via free agency. I look at it as a plus, especially with the play of Bryce Young and how Dave Canales has managed and weathered the storm of this season. So to be determined if this works out. There is a very good chance it does not work out. And then in the middle of the season next year, there's a coaching change, although it'd be hard to imagine that happens, but it's still always a possibility that's on the table. So anyways, I'd love to know what you guys think about Ejiro Evero and his return to Carolina. Are you excited? Are you pissed? Do you wish it didn't happen? Let me know in the comments. As always, this is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.